Hello, and welcome to Title Now. I'm Shannon Widman, Deputy General Counsel with the Fund. And as many of you know, we host these pop up webinars about monthly from time to time to bring you current industry news and information that we feel could be useful to you as a title settlement professional. Today, we are very excited to introduce you to Mark Hall. Mark is the Vice President of Sales for Qualia with a unique background of interest to our listeners today. You may recall seeing Mark at Assembly in prior years. This past year, he was there representing Qualia, and before that, you may have seen him there at the Closing View or e-closing booth. So if anyone understands the concerns of a title attorney or a title agent who is looking to transition into different software, namely Qualia, it is Mark. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Shannon, and thank you for having me on. I've been in the industry almost 20 years now. It was 19 years in August. And, I've helped at this point over 2,000 title agents, many fund members as well, transition from their current title production software to whether it be e-closing or Closing View, RamQuest, and now Qualia. And I'm so excited to be able to work with the fund members again. My most favorite experience working with fund members was probably Fund Assembly 2019, when we had that theater set up in the middle of the exhibit hall. And I think for 22 hours, it felt like it was straight, but it was spread over 2 days. I performed demos of, at that time, we called it ECDT, but basically of Closing View to fund members. So yeah, I'm very excited to be here, very excited to be helping fund members once again on another software transition. And again, hopefully that experience and the experience fund members had over the last several years will aid in that as well. Before we get started, I did want to share just one quick thing. Not many people know, but Qualia as a company, we celebrated our 10th anniversary earlier this year. And we've always had, kind of this reputation as being technologists and not from the industry. And while that was true 10 years ago, our company was started by technologists, software engineers who identified a challenge in our industry and wanted to fill that void with leading technology. Over the past 10 years, we've become title people. And I can say firsthand, one of the ways that we have become title people is joining forces with incumbent platforms like our RamQuest and e-closing platforms. So we brought a lot of industry knowledge to our company, and we believe we are building the future of title, and certainly the future of title technology. So it's exciting to be joining Qualia now. It's not a new company. We've been here 10 years and bringing some of my knowledge from the 19 years at e-closing over to our company.
It's hard to believe it's been that long, really. And I do remember your presentations at the 2019 Assembly. I was there as a member of the fund and an attendee. And then in one of the assemblies after that, our firm had transitioned from double time to ECDT. I think it was still called ECDT then, before Closing View. And you were kind enough to meet me bright and early in the morning. I think it's 7:30 before the exhibit opened. Yeah. And you answered so many of my questions, and I'm so grateful for that. I bombarded you with a list of about 20 different things that I wanted to know about the software and why it did what it did, and you answered all of them the best that you could. So I appreciate that. And now I know that our members and Old Republic agents will be able to count on you for any kind of support that they may need in transitioning to Qualia. So I know they're in good hands. So that helps. Absolutely. For sure. And Qualia, it is amazing, their evolution over time. We went from a time where nobody knew, when it came out, no one knew how to pronounce the word Qualia. What is that? Qualia. And now it's a household name, even not just for title professionals who've, seen the demos and been to the expos and exhibits where you've, shown what the software can do, but also buyers and sellers. Professionals, real estate professionals are getting to know the software and your everyday buyers and sellers. It's become a household name. So
Yeah, and
Qualia's
yeah,
come a
that's a
long
great
way.
point. I mean, yeah, especially in the Florida market. I mean, Florida is one of our largest markets. And I was thinking about this last night. Like historically with e-closing, going into some markets, customers generally want referrals or they want someone who they can speak with who's used the software before, right? Uh, I challenge any fund member, uh, try to every fund member must know at least one person, if not many people who are already using Qualia. And I think that's just a testament to what we've been able to build as a company and the customer base and success and validity of the software that we've built.
That's true. That's a great point. And yeah, they could definitely uh you know, there used to be a saying in our area that because there were so many realtors in the area, it was throw a rock, you hit a realtor, right? Well, now it's throw a rock and you can hit a Qualia customer because there are quite a
For sure.
few in Florida for sure. So it's no big news to me that Florida is your number one market. I can definitely see that here. But thanks again for joining us today to discuss the product. We have many followers who are interested in upgrading their software. They are Qualia Curious. So tell us what this change would be like to for someone who is looking to change. Our title industry, we don't really like to change, but change likes us. So whether we like it or not, the industry changes, regulations change, legislative changes impact the way that we do business. We need software that can keep up. We need software that we can count on to keep our companies safe from cybercrime, which we know is a $1 billion industry, and it's really hard to keep up with some of these criminals. And having a system that protects all the information we need to get from our customers is just vital. So now is the best time to brush up on what we need to know for software purposes. um, how can we provide our title process in a secure and efficient environment, so real estate professionals who are using the software can count on a secure deal and the consumer can count on a secure deal. So give us now, Mark, if you could, the 30,000 foot view of Qualia, what it does for the parties who are trying to work through a transaction.
Sure, sure. One thing for a lot of our listeners and viewers today that I want to acknowledge is that for many of our customers, it's been a really long time since they've had to shop for and change title software. Over my career with eClosing and RamQuest, we were regularly helping customers who had been on the same software for 20, in some cases 30 years. And I think the first thing we have to acknowledge is that things have changed dramatically. You know, the if you think about it from the standpoint of buying an automobile, if you're driving a 10-year-old automobile or a 20-year-old automobile, it doesn't have a lot of the same features, a lot of those safety features that a modern automobile has. And I think we have to think of technology as the same. As time has gone, technology has gotten better. And the experiences that not just our end users, but our customers expect when doing business with us, they expect, that those experiences have gotten better. The way we shop today is much different than the way we shopped 10 years ago. And, I was probably one that was kicking and screaming. I really liked actually going into a store and purchasing things. But now with Amazon, overnight delivery and Amazon, I buy most of my stuff online like everybody else. So I think we just have to acknowledge that our processes and our workflows have to change because things are much different than they were when we may have first implemented technology, in some cases 10, 20, 30 years ago. The other thing we have to acknowledge is that cyber threats have gotten worse. As technology has gotten better, the fraudsters, they're using better technology as well. And they're, really exploiting human and technology vulnerabilities, and their tools have gotten increasingly sophisticated. I guess, the one kind of light at the end of the tunnel is that with the advance in our technology and the advance of I think we're going to be able to use AI to leverage AI to help with some of these risks that we deal with on a daily basis. Um, so we'll talk a little bit about what Qualia is doing from an AI standpoint, but I think the first step into changing software is acknowledging that times have changed. When we talk about kind of the multi-layered threats that our agents are dealing with, I remember when I started in title, I was going and selling to attorneys a cloud-based title production system because the cloud had not been invented yet. This was back in 2006, and one of the biggest concerns was, the where the data resided, right? And because at the time, one of the biggest security threats was compromised or stolen devices, and that's still real. I mean, that should be part of our security posture. But when we talk about how fraudsters have gotten better, we've seen the exploitation of things like phishing attempts and business email compromise, ransomware. When you look at how kind of the breadth, the security threats and the frequencies of those attacks, it's much greater than what we used to deal with because of the advancements of technology. And when we think about the risks to our customers, obviously there's monetary loss, there's reputational damage, and there's loss of business. And those are all things that we recognize for our customers. I mean, that could significantly impact their business. Most of our customers are small business owners, and any one of these things could be really devastating to them. So at Qualia, what we've built to help solve for all of this is a unified, modern, and intelligent title production system. And at the core of that is what we call Qualia Core. For our listeners, that's most equivalent to DoubleTime or Closing View or RamQuest. That's their base title production system. That includes, houses all of their data, it manages their workflows, it houses the integrations with their underwriters to generate CPLs and jackets. But we recognize that wasn't enough. The way we approach technology is a little bit different from some of our competitors in that we don't want our customers dealing with a bifurcated kind of bolted on solution when it comes to protecting their business from some of the significant threats that they're dealing with. So on top of that core platform, we have our marketplace application, which houses all of our third-party applications, which allow our customers to order title searches or lien release tracking or HOA, estoppel. There's a whole marketplace of vendors that our customers can take advantage of. We also have our Connect platform. That's our secure communication platform. That's where our customers can securely communicate wire information, share documents. It's where they can collect information securely from consumers. And then our Shield product is our wire verification tool. And with that comes an insurance policy on every wire that's sent out. So again, for us, I think at times we get criticized for not playing well, I guess, with other vendors. But when I started with title software 20 years ago, if you would ask me what the core competency of title production software was, I would have said generating documents and workflow. But our agents, what they've gotten really good at and their biggest risk is managing and moving around a lot of other people's money. And that's one thing that the title production software, I think, has to have a core competency, the ability to assist customers in some of those tasks that technology in our space hasn't been able to help with historically. But at Qualia, we see that as an opportunity to provide that one ecosystem that helps customers manage one platform.
Yeah, and what you said seems very obvious. I think with all the title production software out there now, we're mainly talking about a cloud-based system, but that's exactly what you're saying. Obviously, Qualia is. It is a cloud-based system. It is not server-based. So in terms of having that room on your server to have the software, that is not an issue with Qualia, right?
Correct. Yeah. Qualia is completely cloud-based, native cloud. And I don't know if you've purchased infrastructure recently, but with the demand for chips specifically due to the rise in AI, it's becoming increasingly expensive for customers to manage their own servers and infrastructure. And that's certainly one of the benefits of using a scalable solution like Qualia.
And I'll get to some AI questions in a minute. I'm thinking about that, but at this point, too, from the buyer or seller perspective, they're on their phones, they're checking devices all the time, and they're getting an email notification that comes in. We just received your title commitment. Look at it here. On their side, on the buyer or seller side, I understand Qualia is mobile friendly.
It is, yeah. For our customers, the end users, Qualia is fully mobile friendly. So most of our customers who are using the platform can log on to a mobile device just the same way they would log on through their computer. For buyers and sellers, we have a Connect app where they can log in and they can access that Connect platform right from their mobile device. And as you described, it allows them to check the status of their files. It allows them to complete buyer and seller information request forms. And as someone who recently sold and purchased a home, it was eye-opening when I received the email from the title company with a PDF that I had to print out, and I had to fill out this information request form. And I kid you not, it asked for my email address, and my personal email is first name dot middle name dot last name at gmail.com. And the spot to fill in my email address was like, yeah, yay big. And it creates a very poor user experience. So that's one thing that we're particularly pleased of at Qualia, is that end user experience for the consumer is almost as, if not more important than the end user experience for our end user. And those information request forms are a great user experience. It makes it very easy to collect information that you'd otherwise be, again, sending out fillable PDFs or asking buyers and sellers to figure out how to print, handwrite, scan, fax, however they get that information back to you. And then there's also, again, the ability for you to share documents with them. So closing packages or uploading additional information can all be done through that mobile app as well.
And just so we're clear, then this buyer or seller experience is going to be relatively easy on their end, right? I mean, if we have a buyer or seller who's not really tech friendly, they're not on their computer all day long. Maybe whatever they do in their line of work has nothing to do with technology, and they could just pull it up on their phone and get in and out and do what they need to do for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, we believe. I mean, if the buyer or seller, if they struggle with online shopping or navigating a mobile app, then that's foundational. They might still struggle with that, but it would made it as easy as that. We are truly trying to create the Amazon-like shopping experience for home buying, and that mobile app is easy for the majority of consumers to navigate. There's always the exceptions. I know as seasoned title industry folks, we've all dealt with those exceptions.
Yes, yes. So, can you tell us about Qualia's security features? Maybe secure emails or a documents portal or any kind of integrations that it may have with some security related companies.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with some of the core features we have in the platform that really any business platform, enterprise platform that you're using should at least have these four components built into them. First is whitelisting of IPs. So the ability for your IT or admin to determine specifically which IP addresses is it safe for our users to log in from. And why that's important, especially for a cloud-based or SaaS-based application like Qualia, is that everybody, while work from home is great, there may be certain roles within your organization or certain individuals within your organization who do not have a business need to be logging in and accessing this data from anywhere but your office or maybe even their home office. So this whitelisting of IPs is an important security feature that we have built into Qualia that can limit where people can access this data from. We also have role-based access controls, and this is part of most kind of InfoSec security posture, where based on your role within the organization, this determines what you can access within the application. In addition to that, just from an access standpoint, again, multi-factor authentication. I think everyone's familiar with that at this point, but any system that you're using to access non-public personal information, such as social security numbers, bank account information, should at least have multi-factor authentication, if not single sign-on, which is the fourth component here of what we've incorporated into Qualia. And again, that allows for kind of a third-party verification sign-on tool, and provides your IT InfoSec teams with more security around what applications are generally accessible and what applications can you log into from your network. It also manages, obviously, credentials and logins, that sort of thing. So those are four, again, foundational security features. You mentioned, what about to the end user as far as secure, sharing documents and things of that nature? That's where in Qualia, our Connect product largely comes into play. Obviously, when you're sending out email communication or you're sending out attachments, you shouldn't be sending those out in a way where they're not encrypted, or where it doesn't require some form of authentication to access. One of the ways we've made that really easy with Qualia is we have smart links that go out with anytime, when you send out a document in Qualia, we have smart links that'll bring you right to that document to make it easy to access that securely. And then we have our Connect portal, which is what we recommend for sharing any sort of wire information, any sort of sensitive information. And of course, that's all behind MFA, other controls.
That sounds good. So just to ask you again about this first part, the allowed IPs that you have on this slide here, is that like just for internal use in terms of someone logging in who's part of your team who may be working from home, or can you do geo blocking on that so you don't get some sort of person who's impersonating a buyer or seller to contact you through Qualia from from the other side of the world, and who's really trying to infiltrate the system? Is it both? Is it one or the other?
Yeah. So I mean, we employ, obviously, at the architecture layer, additional protocols to protect our clients' data that we're housing. The allowed IPs that I was referring to was the former. This is specifically, stating, my employee Mark Hall, he only works from office. He doesn't work from home. So for his username and password, only allow him to log in from our IP addresses within our office.
Very good. So anyone trying to impersonate an employee would be caught in that situation and they wouldn't be able to get through. And then,
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Or if I went rogue and, wanted to log in from home or somewhere else, I would be able to, because I can only log in from the office.
Okay. And I'm sure there are workarounds in case someone really needs to log in from somewhere else. In that case.
Yeah, admins within the account can control that access.
Okay. Makes sense. Let's pivot a little bit to jump into some specific features and functionality. Our listeners are Old Republic title agents and fund members who are agents with Old Republic, obviously. In fact, some of the fund's top producing members already use Qualia. Like we said, if you reach out, you can find someone who is already using the product, and you can ask them what they think. But there are still so many others who are curious, and maybe they're not even coming from Double Time or Closing View. Maybe they're coming from some other system. They have a lot of options to consider. Qualia is certainly a leading contender. But if you could, for our listeners specifically, describe how Old Republic integrations work with Qualia's technology today.
Sure. Yeah, we've had a great long-standing integration with Old Republic Title, and it starts with rates and forms. So we have an integration for policy premium rates, as well as forms such as the commitment and policy forms. Those are all integrated and made available to our Old Republic Title agents. We also have integration with StarsLink and Easy Jacket. So CPLs and jackets today can be generated seamlessly from the Qualia core platform. And as our strategic partnership with ORT continues, I suspect that we'll have even greater integration that's developed in the future.
So let me ask you something right there. You mentioned Stars Link and Easy Jacket. That's something that fund members don't yet know about unless they're dual agents with Old Republic, but they'll soon learn about it because it's the way that you be able to go in and order a product through Old Republic's website. Could you just kind of explain how that works?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So within the Qualia Core platform, you know, the fund members will, once they're issued a Stars Link and Easy Jacket set of credentials, right from Qualia, they'll be able to, similar to the closing view integration today with the fund and ORT, right from the Qualia Core platform, they'll be able to generate a CPL. That data is all pushed to Stars Link. Same thing with the jackets that are generated from Easy Jacket. All the data from Qualia Core that's necessary to be able to report on the premium and generate those products will be pulled from StarsLink Easy Jacket. The members will be able to log in directly to StarsLink and Easy Jacket to run reports from there as well, much like they do at thefund.com. But I would say to explain to the fund members, StarsLink and Easy Jacket is very similar to thefund.com as far as managing policy and CPLs. And all of that is fully integrated. The other thing that we're working on currently that we're really close to releasing and announcing in general availability is the branch product orders integration with the fund. So one thing that's really exciting is that fund members will continue to be able to generate or order branch product orders directly from Qualia Core while using the StarsLink and Easy Jacket integrations to generate CPLs and jackets.
That sounds great. It's just it's new terminology, but it's the same process really, just through Old Republic.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So from what I've seen online, there are so many features that include process automation and AI. And of course, AI could mean a lot of different things. Everywhere you turn, that's all we hear: AI this, AI that, right? But you know, I read about the software integrating and receiving a title order from a lender, whereby the information presented in the title order is automatically entered into the corresponding field. So the lender sends the agent a title order. That title order is already automatically entered in the corresponding fields in the software, and it can just kind of generate an order to the underwriter. Is that true? Does that happen? How does that work?
Yeah, yeah. So there are a few AI tools built directly into the Qualia Core application that have really saved our agents thousands and thousands of hours of time. One of them being the AI document processor that you described. This allows our customers to upload a purchase and sales agreement or title order. I even tested it with a 1003, a loan application. And granted, it's the efficacy of it is going to be largely dependent on the quality of the document for one. Like if it's a handwritten purchase and sales agreement, then it may not, be able to extract all of the data accurately, but it's pretty darn efficient. What you're seeing on my screen right now is kind of just a screenshot of what that would look like. But basically, you can upload a purchase and sales agreement. The data from that purchase and sales agreement will be extracted and presented to the end user. One thing that we believe in is really augmenting our customers and not, we don't want to update things without the customer acknowledging that they want that data updated. So it'll surface the data that it is able to identify from the purchase and sales agreement, whether that's the purchase price, loan amount, the realtors, the lender, and it'll allow you to accept any of that information to create your order. It'll also allow you to edit it. And in addition to surfacing the data, it'll show you the document. So you can scroll through the document to just verify that the borrower's name was spelled correctly and so on before actually creating that file in your system. So that's one of them. Again, that's one of the kind of wow factors that we get to demonstrate when we do a demonstration of Qualia to our prospects and customers. The other one that actually we were considering at RamQuest and eClosing is our lender CD comparison tool. This one, overwhelmingly, when we show this in a demonstration, we see jaws hit the floor. And what this allows our customers to do is upload the lender CD, and it'll compare it line by line to the closing disclosure that the agent has in Qualia Core. And within a matter of seconds, it compares the two and will show you the differences and allow you to either, if you want, accept any or all of the differences, or go line by line and pick and choose which of the lender's changes you want to accept on your CD. But I've spoken with our customers who have converted from Closing View over to Qualia and asked them about their experience with it. And they said, Mark, there are times when I spend 10, 15 minutes trying to find that fee that has caused my balancing to be off by, 5 cents, for instance. And this eliminates that entirely. Like within the matter of moments, I know exactly where or why my file is out of balance, because this goes and reconciles it for me.
Yeah, that's one feature alone that I can tell you will save agents a whole lot of time and just make life a whole lot easier. Having to go back and forth is just a nightmare sometimes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
really incredible.
Yeah, one other thing I want to mention real quickly, in our Connect tool, I think a lot of us have used AI, whether that be ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude. A lot of us have used it, have used generative AI to help with creating emails or responses to emails. In our Connect platform, that can sync and integrate with your email. Built into Connect, we have generative AI responses to email. So I remember, I was talking with one of our customers who went to Connect, and I asked them about that feature. What about that feature, impressed you the most, or why did you sign up with Connect specifically for that feature? And they said it makes us look more professional. I trust my staff, but this just makes us look more professional and allows us to respond to email much more quickly. And then finally, as far as AI is related, we have Qualia Clear, which I'll speak to in just a little bit.
Sounds good. The added bonus of having a technologically advanced software solution for workflow and title is that there are so many features that help the closing agent communicate with real estate professionals and with the consumer. And that's how those relationships are built, and that's how the business comes back to that agent. So yeah, that it's really important that that happens, whether it's through AI generated communication or otherwise. So it, tell us more about how that works with Qualia, in general, just communicating with the other professionals and with the consumer.
Sure, sure. Yeah. Our vision for Connect is really to allow our customers to create a highly personalized closing experience that delights their clients and stands out from the competition. So recently with Connect, we've released some features that have really helped our customers stand out. One is that you can co-brand Connect so that it looks more like your website and your tool, and you can have your logo on there so it looks more familiar. That was some early feedback we had where, one of the biggest risks, I think, when it comes to phishing and business email compromise is that there are so many portals that we force, the consumers and end users to access to try to create a more secure closing experience, that it actually does the opposite. We're sending buyers and sellers to one site to download a document. We're sending them to another site to verify wire information. We're sending them to another site to do X, Y, or Z. And that's where the ecosystem at Qualia, having one unified closing experience creates that more modern experience that customers are looking for. Same with our business partners, but also makes it more secure. So again, with Connect, the goal there is that it's the system, the source of truth within the real estate closing. It creates transparency for all parties involved, whether that be the agents or the buyers or sellers. And as I shared earlier, there are actions that you can assign out to the parties that need to be completed within the Connect portal. There are IR information request forms that you can request from them. We recently released some texting capabilities as well, so you can text, with realtors and with buyers and sellers, which yeah, if anyone knows realtors, that's the only way they communicate these days. It's just with text. They don't want a phone call. They don't want an email. They just want a text. So, you know, Connect is how we've tried to solve for that problem. And I think we've been successful in that we've reduced the number of portals that a consumer needs to access or a third party business partner needs to access in order to get these real estate closings done.
No, that's incredible, really. I know in practice we used to use text to communicate in an additional way, not just through email, but also with some people, like you said, with realtors. That's really the best way to get them wherever they are. They're not always sitting at their desk waiting for an email to come in. They're out there making deals and getting homes ready to show, and driving buyers around hoping that they'll like the next house that they see. They don't have time for all that. So that really is imperative. Does that texting feature then just come from the system, so it doesn't have to come from somebody's personal cell phone?
Yeah, yeah. It comes from a phone number registered for the company. So it's not coming from, yeah, the processor or paralegal. And that, yeah, that historically, I think that's been one of the challenges with banking systems as well, is that like with multi-factor authentication, it generally requires, a lot of them require a cell phone number. The texting capability at Connect uses a phone number registered with the firm or company.
Yeah, that's huge, and it's just a bit more professional too. I think it adds
Absolutely.
in.
And it's all tracked and audited, and there's visibility to it uh, by anyone within the organization.
Fantastic. And the way the Florida contracts are written now, that texting will count. So so
Oh,
that
there we
that
go.
is a good feature there. What about on the agent side when a title commitment comes through? The product is ready, the agent receives the title commitment. Can they manipulate that? Some of the items and the requirements, say the buyer decide last minute, oh, I want a loan now. Can they add the requirement for the mortgage to be reported and that sort of thing? How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. Within Qualia, there's really two ways to prepare a commitment or policy. I suspect for most of our fund members, they'll use the branch product orders service, which will return all of the requirements and commitments for their or requirements and exceptions for their commitments and policies. But they can certainly go and they can add to them. They can remove requirements. They can add exceptions right within the UI of Qualia. And the same thing, if you have members who are performing their own searches right within the title section of Qualia, they can go and add their requirements. We have boilerplates and templates as well. So the clause library that the fund prepares, they can incorporate that into Qualia core and they can pull from that clause library as well.
Great. Does Qualia have a document template component that allows custom documents, and the ability to create some custom clauses, um, and kind of keep those for future use?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. In addition to that, I mean, we have thousands of stock forms that are available to all of our customers. So when you start your deployment of Qualia, you can pull from our standard library and they're organized by state specific packages. So all of our fund members who go in and say, yeah, I want the Florida documents in my deployment of Qualia. But along with that, the ability to custom tag documents or template documents is very easy. And I can't say the same for some of our other systems that I'm familiar with on the e-closing side. It was very difficult at times to tag documents because I'd break the documents as easy as you would, create the documents. But with Qualia, our smart tags are very easy to use. And one thing that's made it even easier is our add-in with Microsoft Word, where that's an add-in right within the Word application. And you can search for smart tags, click on them, it'll insert them where your cursor was within the document in Word, so you're not having to
Wow.
type lengthy tags. And that was always the challenge on the e-closing side was, if you were typing a tag and you inserted a space where there wasn't supposed to be a space and then did a backspace, there would be some RTF code that would be injected and it would break the tag. And you'd have to start over. So yeah, it's very easy to tag the documents. And even within an order, if you're working on a file, you can open the document and you can template it right then and there. Or if you need to create a revision for a scenario that's come up, you can open that template and modify it and save it as a new template. So it's very easy to manage those custom documents.
Wow. What about escrow reconciliation? Are there any built-in functions for that?
Yeah, we have a couple of solutions when it comes to reconciliation. Right out of the box, we have an audit readiness dashboard, which is a great tool that will list any items that should any exceptions. So any items that have not cleared that should have cleared will appear in the audit readiness dashboard. Right out of the box, you can import banking data to automatically clear transactions that have cleared your bank. You can have positive pay files sent directly to your bank as well. So a lot of that reconciliation is automated just with the tools provided in Qualia Core. In addition to that, we have all of the reconciliation reports you need. So your trial balance, your file balance reconciliation, your three-way match reports, and any of the reports, not just the reconciliation reports, but any of the reports in Qualia you can subscribe to, which is a great feature that allows you to say on Monday mornings at 8 a.m., I want this report emailed to me. And you can subscribe for any number of reports as you want and have them emailed directly to you, in addition to creating custom reports. So most of our customers find that, yeah, the reconciliation is very simple within the Qualia platform. We do offer a reconciliation service. So for those members who don't want to be bothered by reconciling their account, they want a third party with eyes on it, we offer a reconciliation service where we will, on a daily basis, go in and upload or integrate with their bank to clear those items, and then work with them on any exceptions as well. And then this is a great time too to bring up our bank partner network. On my screen, we have 5 partner banks. I don't think all of them are in the Florida market, but I know at least 3 of them are. And these bank partners, any of our customers who bank with them, we would need to make the introduction, but we have integrations with those banks to be able to automate the positive paying reconciliation function. We also have extended wire cutoff times with those banks. We have fee-free banking. And then we will also provide customers credits that they earn by banking with those banks that they can use to offset the cost of the Qualia platforms and services.
Does that mean that you can go through the positive pay process without leaving the Qualia platform?
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
All right. We need more banks added to that list. That's great. A lot of our members and agents e-record. Are there integrations for e-recording included in Qualia?
Yeah, so one of our core integrations is with Simplifile, and that integration allows our customers to record, send the documents for recording to the registry, and then once the documents are recorded, those images of the documents will appear in their document management area, and the recording data also flows back into the Qualia platform.
Okay. That's great. Sounds simple enough. Let's move on to what a transition to Qualia would actually look like. How long does a normal transition take from some other software to Qualia? We have fund members moving from closing view or double time, and they want to start all of their 2026 files in Qualia. Is that a realistic timeline, something that they can do?
It is realistic, although we are getting close to the end of the year. So if that is a goal of a member to be up and running by January 1st, then you'll want to get started as soon as possible. We find that with the mutual action plan that we put together with our customers, the average is an 8-week onboarding, and that's starts with a call with the admin to go over configuration and then end user training, straight through go live. But for most of our customers, 8 weeks tends to be the average. For our customers who are converting, I mean, there's 3 main stages, as you can see on the slide deck. That pre-transition stage is when the member would be working with someone on my team, on our conversion sales team, or one of the core AEs at Qualia to evaluate the plans and the programs that we have to offer. And that's when they can decide, whether they just want the core platform or they're interested in Connect, Shield, Clear reconciliations, whatever it may be. But that pre-transition stage typically starts with a discovery call where we inquire a little bit about the company. We want to know, what are their challenges? What are they hoping to solve for? So we know how best, to present our products and services to them. And then once we get them signed up on the product suite, that's when we start implementation. And it starts at 8-week onboarding. The onboarding, there's a customer or an onboarding specialist that's assigned to each member. We have dedicated 1 hour long phone calls each week, and that's where the member can go and ask any questions about their experience over the previous week, any challenges that they have. And then we also have great resources through Qualia University where our customers can actually assign training courses to their staff to be able to expedite the training process. Best case scenario we've had is we had someone on board over a weekend. They've gone through the 10 hours or so of self-guided videos, and they were ready to go and creating new orders on Monday morning, well before their first onboarding call. And well, that's not standard or normal or typical. It's certainly doable.
Wow, that's fantastic. Is there the capability of importing the existing contacts from the current software program into Qualia?
There is not. And the main reason for that is there's an adage with data, and it goes something like, bad data in, bad data out, right? For most of our systems, there hasn't been a way to easily dedupe records or maintain a good database of contacts. And I can speak firsthand for e-closing. We didn't have that. And when I work with our e-closing or closing view customers, the contacts area in those systems, especially someone who's been using the software for 10 years, it's a mess, right? So we don't want to import bad data when you're starting with a new system. So we generally advise it's a great spring cleaning exercise. Fortunately, Qualia does have a deduping tool. So as you're adding contacts, it's going to let you know if there's a similar contact in there so you don't end up with the scenario you might be dealing with today.
Yeah.
But when I look at some of our customers and work with them and see that there's 100 records or contacts for a realtor or a branch or a bank.
Yeah, a buyer.
A buyer.
A repeat customer. We would have, buyers that say it was Jack Smith. Well, they would refinance and the bank loan may be in Jack A. Smith. They might want to add a middle name, or maybe it's Jack Alexander Smith on the next refinance. And you just never know. And I know in other closing products that we used in my old firm, there was no deduping mechanism in there. So there would just be 5 or 6 Jack Smiths, and we would never know which one was the most current. Maybe Jack had moved over time because we did 6 or 7 transactions for him. Odds are he had a new address. And so we would never know which one the latest was. That was a very frustrating process. So you're right. It is a good exercise to go through. And even though it sounds convenient to have all those contacts moved over, I guess there's nothing better than a little spring cleaning.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so say someone, an agent wants to make the decision to get onboarded with Qualia. What does Qualia offer in terms of support? You talked about the weekly phone call and then something about Qualia University. So go into that a little bit if you could.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I love about Qualia is it's well documented and our users find it very easy. We try to empower our customers so that they're not dependent on us, right? I'm the type where I don't want to pick up a phone and call support. And I want to try to find the answer myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Qualia offers great support. It's available 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. But we really try to empower our customers with the tools they need to be successful. And one of those tools is Qualia University. And again, there's courses that you can take. There's courses you can assign out to your staff to make it very easy for them to onboard. When you add a new user, within the Qualia deployment based on their role. You can automatically assign courses that they need to watch, and you can monitor that and track that as well. So on onboarding new employees is incredibly easy, and for our customers converting, they can benefit from those tools as well. Um, we also have in-app, guidance and tutorials as well. So right from the Quality application, there's a wealth of knowledge base. And then at the end of the day, if you get stuck, if you just need to talk with someone, or you need to, create a support ticket, you can do that as well. But we find that most of our customers are very successful with a lot of the self-help materials that we provide.
That's great. Let's talk about pricing. How is that determined? It seems to be the $60,000 question. Is it per transaction? Is there a minimum number of transactions? Does it depend on which quality of product you have? How do we figure out how much this costs?
Yeah, generally speaking, most of the quality of products and services are based on a plan size. So working with an account executive, we would identify which plan size makes the most sense for the member. The plan sizes for our conversion and double time customers start at 10 orders per month. And that's basically, the average for you. How many open orders do you generally create in a month? And we have plan sizes that go up into the thousands, but our pricing is based on the plan size that the customer chooses based on their average volume. So you could say it's a per file price, because you're committing to an allotment of files, and it is dependent on which services you want to take advantage of. So again, the core title production system, which is the base product at Qualia, is very comparable in price to closing view or other title production systems. And then when you start adding on into that ecosystem, you really have to look at what are those other third-party costs that you're using to solve for the problems you're trying to solve for with a Connect or a Shield product. And we oftentimes, again, will find that when you start looking at the third-party vendor costs that our customers are paying in order to help provide a more secure and streamlined closing experience, it's very comparable to what they would be paying for the Qualia suite. I think the challenge that we have is that when a member asks us, what is Qualia going to cost, that discovery, that initial discovery call that we do with them is critical, because one, we want to make sure we understand their needs, what's their plan size. But just like going to purchase a new car, if I walk into a car dealership and ask them, well, what does a car cost? I'm not able to effectively share with them the price of the automobile without knowing
truck,
what
right?
size,
What do you need?
utility,
Right.
what luxury features might you want. So we want to make sure that we're partnering with our customers, we're being consultative, we're presenting to them a plan and a price size that works for their business. One
That
thing I do
sounds
want to
good.
mention is, for all of the fund members who are currently on double time or are currently on e-closing or closing view, we do have some really steep discounts that are available to them through the next 5 years. The best discounts are occurring this year. So in 2025, fund members on double time or closing view are eligible for a 50% discount on core. And we also have a multi-year agreement where if they want to commit to 5 years, they'll get 60% discount on the full 5 years.
Wow. And just to be clear, that's a discount for 5 years, depending on what they're looking for. That doesn't mean they have 5 years to decide. Both
Correct.
closing view and double time will sunset well before the 5-year mark. So
That is correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then how about some upcoming features? What do we have to? It seems like every day I read the title report, it comes through, and I see Qualia announces new tool for this, new tool for that. I just saw something come through this week, I think it was, about a new FinCEN tool. What do you have on the horizon?
Yeah, that's a great segue. I mean, first I will speak to FinCEN real quickly here. We obviously the delayed implementation of FinCEN is a blessing to everyone in the industry. It gives us a little more time to prepare our teams. And for our conversion customers, it creates a great opportunity for them to prepare once. And what I mean by that is we're working with a lot of our customers to ensure that they're up and running on Qualia and they're preparing their teams to be able to comply with FinCEN in Qualia well ahead of the March 1st deadline. Whereas if it went into effect on December 1st, like it originally would have, then it wouldn't have given folks much time to prepare. But anyways, within Qualia, we have basically 4 solutions that we're providing. One is order tracking. So within the Qualia platform, you'll be able to flag orders as being FinCEN reportable. From that flag, you'll be able to obviously report on those transactions. So you'll be able to generate a report. There's a stock report that will show you all the transactions that need to be reported to the Department of Treasury. We're creating workflow automation to assist in the flagging of those files. So based on transaction type and type of entity, seller, those flags, that toggle can automatically be flagged to toggle. And then we're also creating an information collection IR form. So similar to those Connect forms that I mentioned to collect buyer and seller information, to help with the collection of the 111 data points for FinCEN, we'll have another information request form that will allow the buyer and seller to complete the information necessary for FinCEN so that the title company, isn't needing to. It's just a step in the closing process that the buyer and seller will have to complete to collect that information and report it back to the title company.
All through a secure platform using Qualia rather than email and
paper,
PDF
and paper
and paper. Yeah,
exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It sounds similar to the way we have to collect and report data for 1099 S's. And I guess the only thing that we would be missing, we actually need from FinCEN, from the federal government, to provide that API, that plugin, so that it can actually connect with the government portal. But nobody has that yet because they haven't released the API. Is that right?
We are anxiously waiting for some guidance, and some documentation would be great. But we're committed to that as well.
Nice.
Once we know, we're kind of taking a guess like what this might look like. But once we know for sure what will be expected and what that API looks like, then we'll also be creating that as well, so our customers will be able to submit the data directly to the Department of Treasury.
That's great. What else? Anything else on the horizon, or how do we?
The other thing. The other thing I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up is Qualia Clear. We had a press release about this at the beginning of September. This product went live on September 6th, and this is our agentic AI solution. So recently, we released our 2025 State of AI in Title and Escrow, and this is available on our website. If you go to qualia.com, in the resources section, you can download that report. But what we found after surveying over 600 industry professionals is that 90% of our customers, 90% of respondents say they use AI today. And I think, a lot of them might be like you and I. Well, I don't want to speak for you, Shannon, but like I use AI personally for a lot of different things. I also use it, professionally, but it seems like the application of AI in our industry is becoming more and more prevalent. And we're seeing more and more business owners say that, they use AI today for business. Some of the reasons that we found was that folks are using AI to automate repetitive tasks for increased efficiency. They're also seeing higher work quality, fewer manual errors, and lower risk. And as we spoke a lot about this afternoon, is improved client experience and the competitive advantage that AI creates for those folks who adopt it. And we really truly believe that this is one of those paradigm shifts where those that win in this market and in the industry are going to be true adopters of AI. And we have a pretty bold thesis where we think that over the next 2 years, 80% of title work will be automatable with the use of AI. So
Wow.
we'll do a retrospective on that in 2 years from now. But based on what we're seeing and the advancement in these tools, a lot of the tasks that we do daily are very repetitive. And again, our goal is not necessarily to replace, but to augment. So just like we saw with the lender CD processor and that AI document processor in Qualia Core, we truly believe that that's low hanging fruit in comparison to what AI can truly do for our customers. So to meet the moment where we're at, we have dedicated ourselves to building the industry's only AI embedded title production system, Qualia Clear. So this was launched on September 8th, and we believe it's the biggest and most important product we've ever developed. So you might be asking, what is Qualia Clear? And it's the most comprehensive assistant, the most confidence assistant that you can imagine, and it's available to every single employee within our customers' companies. It's an agentic AI system, basically an army of AI agents, each obsessed with a specific function. So for instance, there's one for opening orders, one for payoffs, one for title curative tasks, and so on. And the nice thing about Qualia Clear is we all, again, those of us that use AI personally or professionally, we're used to how you interact through conversational chat. Qualia Clear is no different. So you can ask it things about your orders, you can ask it things about your business, and it's going to surface information about your current orders. It can surface problems with your files just through that conversation. So yeah, any fund members who are interested, I encourage them to go to qualia.com. You can request a demo right from the website. If you're a current eClosing or RamQuest customer, you can reach out to your account manager and they'll be happy to connect you with an AE. And you can also email cam@e-closing.com or cam@ramquest.com if you don't know who your account managers are. But we're very excited about what Qualia Clear can do. And as a teaser, I'll leave you with kind of one of the more impressive use cases of it is our title exam assistant that we're built into our title production area, which allows our customers to upload all of the documents within a title exam. And within a matter of minutes, it creates an entire title report and populates requirements, exceptions right into the commitment based on the raw documents. And it is extremely accurate.
Wow. Yeah, I actually saw a little bit of this when we were at Alta One in New York City not too long ago. This was just being introduced and it created quite the buzz there. The fact that there could be some sort of preliminary title search report created based on information you can get from AI, that might be very useful to agents doing commercial work, which a lot of our fund member attorneys do, to be able to pull up some sort of preliminary report before the underwriter has run it through the regular processes. You could help your developer clients move through to contract in a significant way with just the time that it would take to that's reduced by using AI for just that one purpose. I can't even imagine all of the other things you spoke to,
Yeah.
all the time that would save. That's incredible.
Yeah, and the nice thing about it too is again, we're trying to augment, staff, right? So when it surfaces a preliminary title report, it footnotes, and cites where it got certain information from. So if you have a 100-page title exam and there's an exception or there's a requirement on there, it'll cite the source for you. So you can click into it, see the document where it got that information from. And again, all of this stuff, like any AI tool today, requires human review, but the reviewing of this data is a whole lot easier than the analyzing of it, or a whole lot quicker than the analyzing of it. And that's what these AI tools have become very good at.
Fantastic. Wow. Wow. All right. So, how do our members and agents learn more? Who do they reach out to?
Yeah, so I mean, anyone can go to the qualia.com website. Right on the website, there's a button to request a demo. As I mentioned, for our e-closing or RamQuest customers or Closing View customers, if you have a relationship with your account manager, you can start with them. You can also email cam@e-closing.com if you're using Closing View today, or cam@ramquest.com if you're using RamQuest, and your account manager will reach out. We have them do kind of some introductory discovery for us, just to learn about timing, make sure you're familiar with the discounts that are available, the sunsetting timelines for applications, but they can connect you with an account executive as well.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Mark, so much for coming on with us today and discussing all of this. It's a great time of year to brush up on all of this stuff. It's also the end of the year, so a great time to consider making a change and making a move, regardless of which software you're on. But this is great information. This is so much more than we could get just by doing our own research. So thank you so much for your time today,
Yeah,
and we really appreciate you.
my pleasure. Thank you, Shannon, for having me. And if anyone has questions, you're welcome to get a hold of me as well.
All right, and as our listeners know, Title Now is pushed out onto the podcast platform, so you can subscribe and get it anywhere you get your podcasts. We will push this out on YouTube very soon. So thanks very much. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.